Richie, my man. Welcome back, brother. Guys, how we doing? Richie's back, finally. Far out, man. Anyway, guys, we're going to do some pods for you. We're going to be looking at, we are looking at 10 disturbing murder methods that will leave you breathless. Pretty fucked up this shit, eh? So we're going to go, I hope everyone's alright, guys. Guys, thank you for new subscribers. Guys,
Thanks
also,
for the likes, comments, everything.
if you like the videos, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, bell notification, whatever you want to call it. All good, we're going to get started. Alright, guys, you ready? Let's go. Anyway, Richie, before anything, disturbing murder methods. What's the most... Tell me now, let me just put that one down. Tell me which one now, okay, is like... What could you think of, like as a real fucked up method, like with your imagination?
I think torturing.
But what kind of torturing? Because before we start, we're gonna see if what we think. Sorry, bro. Yeah. What we think is more twisted than what we see here. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I reckon a torturing. Like just try using your imagination. We're not violent people, but fuck. Could you imagine like opening up someone's knees?
Yeah.
And putting like salt and stuff in? Like real gruesome stuff.
Or grab like
or pulling their teeth out one by one with pliers.
Oh, you see that? Went out the hammer, fingers.
But we'll see what this is, guys. Guys, give us some comments. Number 10, the deadly umbrella, a Cold War espionage tale. Let's see. And guys, forgive me if there's any words I can't pronounce, because this is Bulgarian people. Georgy Markov's death is a chilling example of the creative and disturbing methods that murderers can employ. Born in Bulgaria in 1929, Markov was a dissident writer and broadcaster who defied the oppressive communist regime in his homeland. But it was his fate on a fateful September day in 1978 in London that sent shockwaves around the world. Markov was assassinated with a poison tip umbrella. Yes, you read that right, an umbrella. On September 7, 1978, as he waited for a bus, Markov felt a sharp pain in his thigh. He turned to see a man with an umbrella apologizing for the accidental jab. What Markov didn't know was that the umbrella concealed a tiny hollow needle that injected a deadly pellet filled with, is it ricin? With ricin, a highly toxic substance. By the time he reached the hospital, it was too late and he died 3 days later. This murder method was not only terrifyingly clever, but also a clear message to all dissidents. No one was safe from the long reach of the totalitarian regime. The murder of Georgy Markov remains a haunting and shocking example of how far someone will go to silence their opposition. Bro, could you imagine that? Could you imagine you just waiting somewhere? Waiting, next time I see someone with an umbrella, I'm going to stay away.
Yeah, bro. Just come and disturb you, like nip you.
Like just by accident said, oh sorry man, and he walks off and you're about to die.
Yeah.
Oh yuck, it's an ugly way to go, man.
Far out. I've heard a story like that, but it was with a heroin needle. Some Aboriginal bloke walked up and just shanked this bloke on the back with a needle. He goes, "Welcome to the world of AIDS."
That's far out. Scary shit. Alright guys, number 9. Dismemberment. Down Under. So number 9, guys, Dismemberment Down Under. The Catherine Knight horror. Here we go. John Price was a man from New South Wales, Australia, who met a gruesome end at the hands of his partner, Catherine Knight, in 2000. What makes this case chilling is the brutality of the murder. Knight didn't just end Price's life, she went to unimaginable lengths to make sure he suffered. Stabbed him repeatedly, skinned him, and even attempted to cook his body parts. It's the stuff of nightmares. Oh wow. Yuck.
That's happened here in Australia.
Yeah. What's even more disturbing is the apparent motive behind the heinous act. It's said that Knight was deeply obsessed with Price and their relationship was marred by violence and abuse. Her actions not only shocked the local community but sent shockwaves throughout the world. Catherine Knight became the first woman in Australia to receive a life sentence without a possibility of parole. This case remains a chilling reminder of the dark depths human beings can descend into and the horrifying methods some individuals use to exact their revenge. Doesn't really say why. What was she gonna... Revenge for what? What did you do? You only just cheated on her?
Yeah.
Fuck that, could you imagine that? Get skinned alive and get cooked. But what drives human beings to do
that? And that was here in Australia, huh?
Yeah. What drives people to do that shit, man? Yuck. Could you imagine skinning someone like that?
Yeah, that's crazy.
I don't know. To me, an animal is different, right?
Animal's different.
But like a human.
From human.
Especially living with him, being your husband, boyfriend, whatever it is.
I heard humans stink when they get like.
They do, yeah. They reckon it's the worst tasting meat. Because I don't know if it's true or not, but you know, like a great white, you know how great whites bite, and then they let go, but it's already a chunk off. Because they reckon they taste it and they let go.
Oh.
Yeah.
With other things, they rip it apart, eh?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Anyway, guys, number 8, the brutal symphony of pipes and hammers. Just sounds fucked up. There we go. You ready?
Yeah.
Yo Young Chul, often.
Yo Young Chul.
Sorry, guys. Yu Young Chul, often referred to as the Raincoat Killer, is a chilling figure in the annals. Oh, okay. He's a chilling figure in the annals of true crime. This South Korean murderer sent shockwaves through the nation in the early 2000s with his gruesome killing spree. From the fact that he took multiple lives, but from the horrifying methods he used. This disturbed individual primarily targeted wealthy and elderly victims whom he lured with the promise of financial gain. What made his crimes truly horrifying was his penchant for dismemberment. Oh, yuck. You often act his victims into pieces, and he didn't stop at just 1 or 2. His body count surpassed 20. But it didn't end there. You didn't hesitate to use different murder methods, making his crimes more disturbing. He poisoned and strangled his victims, creating a nightmarish pattern of death that baffled law enforcement for years. Ultimately, his capture in 2004 ended his reign of terror. Still, his gruesome methods continue to haunt the memories of those who followed his case.
So what was it? Anything?
You know what his name reminds me of? Rush Hour. I'm you. You. Wow, man. He used to hack him, and he's killed 20 people. And that's how he used to go. Did he get money off him? I didn't get what it was. And the elderly as well.
The methods continue
for
to
4 years.
Fucking hell.
Could you imagine the people that are on there, like on the actual
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, bro. Like, could you imagine them, like on the case? That'd be disturbing. And then they got to approach someone like that.
What?
Like they got to approach someone like that as well.
No.
It's not easy to be a cop, man. Sometimes. Anyway, guys, number 7. The crimes of Dennis Nilsen. Dennis Nilsen, one of the most notorious serial killers in British history, was known for his chilling and disturbing murder methods that sent shivers down the spines of many. Nilsen, also known as Muswell Hill Murderer and the Kindly Killer, operated in London during the 1970s and early 80s. What sets Nilsen apart is his shocking preference from strangulation and drowning as he preferred murder techniques. He would often lure young men to his home with the promise of company, food or alcohol. Once there, he would strangle or drown them, sometimes rendering them unconscious before proceeding with his gruesome acts. His crimes went unnoticed for several years because he would dispose of the bodies by dismembering them and flushing the remains down the toilet or burning them in his garden. Nilsen's ability to appear friendly and normal made his story even more disturbing. He confessed to killing 15 young men, but the actual number is believed to be higher. His macabre actions left the public breathless when the details of his gruesome murders came to light, making Dennis Nilsen one of the most horrifying figures in true crime history. But could you imagine, what do you call it? Drowning? I always think that's a very painful death.
Fuck yeah. Because you know, like
What's the most painful death you reckon?
Apparently the most painful death is from like
burning.
Yeah.
I think fire.
Because you don't really die straight away. You know, or you may begin to mental shock, eh?
I don't know. You have some sort of shock, but just drowning, bro. Just imagine now. Hold your breath. Hold it, and then when you let go, you feel it. You're like, fuck. Ah. Yeah, you kind of sound like one of our mates, you know what I mean? Yeah. So could you imagine that when you can't do that?
So when you're down,
and then you just die. That's violent, man.
But didn't you reckon you're in a fire you'll feel the same kind of thing?
Yeah, of course you're burning.
And you're like, you can't breathe too? Because remember, if you try to breathe, you're gonna breathe the fire in your mouth too.
Breathe the fire.
Like, you know.
Yeah. Isn't that a movie? No. Yuck, man. Anyway, guys, number 6. Diane Downs. Maternal evil. Diane Downs made headlines back in 1983 for a shocking and downright horrifying reason. This woman shot her own kids. Fuck, and what the fuck? She claimed they were victims of a carjacking on a remote Oregon road, but her story started falling apart like a house of cards pretty quickly. Her behavior was suspicious and the authorities started digging deeper. One of her children sadly didn't make it and the other 2 survived but with some serious injuries. The motive behind this gruesome act was even more chilling. Downs was involved in an affair and thought that by getting rid of her children she would waltz into a romantic relationship without the whole mum thing holding her back. In 1984, Downs was found guilty of murder and received a life sentence. Her case became a media sensation and inspired books, TV, movies and documentaries. People couldn't believe the cold-heartedness and lack of remorse she displayed. But you know, naturally, like a mum is always way more protective than a dad and everything naturally. You know what I mean? The love that a mum has and like...
Yeah, the nurturing and all of that stuff,
Like, all that for a relationship. Just so she doesn't have the kids. Could you imagine what the kids are like? They would have been terrified. What drives?
I was just, but like,
what a fucking shit, man.
You know, like media, like, see how like we look at that and go, fuck, that's fucked up.
It is, man. It's
but look at it. It's like they even made TVs, they made documentaries, they made a movie out of it.
But see,
and they praise it.
It's more bigger. Look. It's more bigger when it's in these type of countries.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? Like in poorer countries, you don't even know if this happens or not. No. I don't think so.
No, man. I don't think so.
You reckon poorer countries have more morals?
Of course.
They do, eh?
Of course they do. No. Like I guess there's a lot of effed up thing that's happening there. But
yeah, of course.
But not these spastic kind of things that they just snap it and because they want to be in a relationship.
Yeah.
Maybe it happens. I don't know, but like.
Yeah, not like that.
I don't think. Yeah.
Anyway. That's crazy, man.
We'll say this one, but we'll say that we already repeated.
Yeah, we've already had this one, but we'll do it anyway, man. Guys, number 5, guys. Sagawa, the tale of the cannibal killer. In 1981, the world was introduced to the bizarre and chilling story of Sagawa, a Japanese man who would become infamous for a gruesome crime that would haunt the public's imagination for years to come. Sagawa, born in 1949, was a quiet and unassuming graduate student pursuing studies in literature in Paris at the time. Sagawa was involved in the murder and cannibalization of a fellow student, Renee Hartveld, a Dutch woman. Sagawa, who had long been obsessed with the idea of consuming human flesh, lured Hartveld to his apartment under the pretense of conducting a poetry reading where he proceeded to carry out his gruesome act. Sagawa's arrest and trial in France drew worldwide attention, not only because of the heinous nature of his crime, but also because of the legal and psychiatric complexities that surrounded the case. Eventually, Sagawa was declared legally insane and unfit to stand trial, which led to his deportation back to Japan, where he spent a brief period in a mental institution before being released. The leniency of his sentence and his subsequent media celebrity status in Japan would spark international outrage. So he kind of got away with it. That law is funny.
Yeah, that's very funny.
Like, so you can do anything and say, I'm mental.
Yeah.
And he's consuming. Oh, we've read this before, but...
Yeah. Hey, that girl's alright, looking, eh?
Yeah, she's pretty good looking.
Little blondie?
Ate her out. Literally ate her out. Sorry, guys.
Sorry.
Anyway, guys, number 4. Wood chipper, the bizarre case of Richard Crafts. There we go. Richard Crafts made headlines in the late 1980s when he used a wood chipper to dispose of his wife's Hellcraft's body. Well, Hell's remains were never fully recovered, but forensic evidence included bone fragments suggested a gruesome end inside that wood chipper. This method is not only gruesome but also bewildering in its audacity. Crafts intended to liberate any trace of his crime, however, investigators could still piece together enough evidence to convict him. Crafts' case was the first case in Connecticut to be tried and convicted without a victim's body.
Oh,
that's like mafia shit.
Yeah.
They put him in the wood chippers.
Yeah.
Ooh. I wonder if you feel pain if you get stuck into a wood chipper.
Depends on how you get. Like, imagine if you get a leg first.
That's painful.
Yeah. Bro,
What about if you get, like, think about it. If you're going to get wood chip from here,
bro, there's no...
you're gone.
You're gone. Your brain, yeah.
See you later. But from there, oh, wow.
Imagine if they cut them up, like he cuts his leg off, throws it in, cuts his other leg off, throws it in.
Maybe.
Yeah. Because, bro, how was he... Because, you know, some wood chippers, they get stuck.
Imagine he was that fucked up. He'll keep him alive. He'll keep his wife alive. Cut one part while she's in pain, throw it in the wood chipper, then cut her other part, then cut her arms off while she's alive, and then slowly press her in there. Oh, wow, what a fucking... Buddy, I don't even know why I said that. Fuck, it's fucked up. Okay, guys, ready? Number 3, guys. Andre Chikatilo's reign of terror. Andre Chikatilo, the infamous Soviet serial killer, earned the nickname the Red Reaper. Oh, the Red Ripper for his gruesome and prolific murder spree in the 1980s. Chikatilo's disturbing method of choice was sexual mutilation and cannibalism. Chikatilo preyed on children and young adults, typically luring them into isolated areas before committing his horrific acts. His reign of terror went on for a decade. Fucking a decade! Wow. During which he managed to evade capture, leaving a trail of mutilated bodies in his wake. What makes Chikatilo's case even more unsettling is the political climate of the time and the Soviet Union's initial reluctance to acknowledge the presence of a serial killer. When he was finally apprehended in 1990, Chikatilo was convicted of 53 murders but claimed to have committed more than 56. His shocking crimes and the psychological toll they took on the victims' families and society make his story truly disturbing. And at the time, Soviet was fucked up, man. But body mutilation. Fuck, man. That means like just cutting them and ripping them open and shit. That's fucking disgusting. Alright, guys, number 2, we're almost done. Number 2, guys. Disturbing legacy of Gary Ridgeway. Gary Ridgeway, also known as the Green River Killer, takes the disturbing murder methods to a whole new level. Active in the 1980s and 1990s, Ridgeway's preferred method of murder was strangulation, and he targeted vulnerable young women. A piece of shit. What sets Ridgeway apart in his gruesome method of staging his victims' corpses in sexually suggestive poses? This macabre post-mortem ritual showcases the chilling level of control he saw over his victims even after their deaths. Ridgeway's legacy is horrifying as he is one of the most prolific serial killers in US history. He was eventually apprehended in 2001 and convicted of murdering 49 women, although he later claimed the actual number was much higher.
Oh, wow.
So hold on, what would he do? So he would, in gruesome way, he targeted vulnerable young women.
He must have did what he did
sets
sexually.
Apart, corpses in sexual.
Staging
victims' corpses in sexually suggestive poses. Oh,
but kill him and then
Wow, that's fucked, man.
Oh, it's quite.
But honestly, man, are these guys possessed?
Yeah, honestly, that's what I think, man. Like, they have to be in a very bad place. Okay. Like.
That's crazy.
Like, possessed is a.
Is that my neighbour? That's alright. Anyway, guys, and number 1, acid bath time. John George Hayes' calculated carnage. In the annals of disturbing murder methods, John George Hayes' acid bath murder certainly claimed a sinister spot. This British serial killer, active in the 1940s, managed to dissolve his victims' bodies in barrels of sulfuric acid, leaving no trace behind. That is fucking painful, bro. Hay was a smooth talker, using his charm to get close to people before dispatching them. He believed that by dissolving the bodies, he would avoid detection. Hay's most infamous victim was Dr. Archibald Henderson, and his gruesome deeds earned him the nickname as Acid Bath Murderer. His planning and the sheer audacity of using acid to dispose of human remains make Hayes' crimes a truly disturbing chapter in criminal history. In the end, it was his cockiness and his arrogant confession that led to his capture, and he paid for his horrific acts with his own life, hanged for his heinous crimes in 1949. Oh, so that's when the death penalty was there. That was death penalty.
Far out.
Yeah, man. Far out, bro. Acid baths.
Would that be painful?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Because you're not gonna.
You're not die instantly.
Nah, you're melting. You're melting, bro. You know, there's that. You know that acid, I don't know if you see it, you know sometimes if you got your toilet clogged, you use that powder, have you seen it?
Yeah.
Have you heard it?
Yeah.
It's an acid when you hit the thing and you see it. But you know, if you put that on your skin and you put a bit of water, that'll rip through you.
Yeah.
So imagine, so imagine that,
water.
a full bathtub. It's sulfuric acid, bro. So you literally will start ripping your skin off. Bro, humans can either be really good,
or just
really good people, mad examples and heroic, and they can be the fucking most evil people out there. It's fucked, man. Anyway, guys, give us, this is just a short one, guys. I mean, it's probably not the best. Try viewing it anyway, guys. Come on. All right, guys. Till next time.
Enjoy.
Like I said, like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Wolfpack out.
Oh.
See you guys.